did to turn my vision into a reality because I care about people. I think that's the biggest thing for me. I care about people wholeheartedly. I want people to win, no matter what situation they're in, whether it's music, it's life, especially people that look like me. So one of my biggest things is when I was in college, I went to school for physics and chemical engineering, that's where I got my degrees in. So I was going to be this big guy that went to go work for the government, probably made some balls and blues and shit. But I'm glad I did do that because one of the biggest things that I really wholeheartedly love about being in the music industry. I had friends that were struggling, producers that was going out without getting paid. I think the biggest dream for me is to create residual income for our people. That's what I want to see, no matter if it's me, y'all, little JoJo from down the block, whatever it is. I just want us to be in a better space as a culture, as a people. And I saw the music industry and I was like, this is a way I can make impact. Because you can take a feeling and turn it into a millionaire. It's one of the few industries you can do that in. So realizing that, I was like, I'm put on this earth by God to really change, the way we live as a people. And I think that's what kind of turned my dream into reality. It made me start this business. Is because it's like when I started my business, it wasn't to be in music. It was to go and become a lawyer so I could help people start LLCs and help them create businesses so they can own their IP. That's what I did. And I saw music and I was like, oh, dang, they need this more than anything. There's a lot of people in this space that own what's supposed to own a lot and own nothing, and that kind of shifted me into okay, I'm gonna learn everything I can about the music industry on my just in my head and figuring it out so that the people that come after me don't. And I don't think there's a lot of people in the music industry that really thought like that before us. So that was one of my things. I'm gonna get in and make sure it don't take us another 50 years, to figure this out because we on the decline now, right? Well, they say we on the decline, but we'll see how it is. Because I'm still fine. We'll see. One of the biggest things is just making sure people are good. And I think that's how I kind of got here. It's I'm on these stages because I don't care about anything else and make sure people like, hey, kid can do whatever he wants in life because he deserves that. He's a genius, and he deserves to be celebrated.
Yeah, that's really it. Man, I think I really got here because younger, I didn't really have a specific dream, an aspiration I was after, and that allowed me to really do whatever I enjoyed. I just wanted to do whatever the fuck I wanted to do. That was always my goal, right? And music was one of those things that I really loved it. So I did it a lot, and since I was gonna do it, I was like, I'm gonna do it however I want to do it. You feel me? And that kind of led me here.
Right. All right, so good answers. I think whenever you are trying to attain that dream, as far as I know you said, some of y'all, LaRussell said that's kind of what he loves, but I think passion is aligned with your dream. And when you said that about you being passionate about not necessarily being a dream, I think because you're passionate about it, it aligns with your dream, you know what I mean? But there are obstacles that lead, we have things in the way, have things that maybe stop you. What advice would you give a creative that's dealing with life, you know what I mean? And that dream's not necessarily coming to fruition, or you putting in the energy, you putting in everything you're supposed to be doing for it, but it's not coming to fruition. What advice would you say to kind of stick with it, or maybe necessarily pivot around it to try to get back on the line?
Don't turn speed bumps into roadblocks. You feel me? Sometimes you need to slow down. Not necessarily turn around and go the other way, but you just need to slow down so you can process what you're doing. And sometimes I think pivoting is important, like they were talking about in the last panel. Everything shouldn't have this crazy amount of resistance to it. You gotta flow with life. It's like having writer's block. If you in the studio and it's just not coming, just let it go. You feel me? You don't have to force everything. Some things should flow, and sometimes life is trying to push you to flow in a certain direction, but you swimming against the current. So you making it so much harder instead of just adjusting. So you really just gotta flow. Find something that you really enjoy, that comes with ease, that you're passionate about, and let it flow.
think slowing it down is probably like the biggest advice I can give anybody, because I was just talking to this young man right here, and he's like 21, and I started when I was 25, and I told him, he's like, I don't know what I'm doing. I said, I still don't know. You know, like, you get in the game and you realize, like, the people at the labels don't know what they doing, and the people at the marketing companies don't know what they doing, and really everybody's just trying to figure this thing called hip-hop out, right? Just the music industry, because I work in country now, and they don't know what they doing. They look at us, like, how did y'all do streaming? Like, I'm like, how do you not know how to do streaming? You work at Warner. Like, it doesn't make sense. But it's like, I think understanding what your goal is, I think what got all of us on this stage right now is having goals, right? Once I reach a goal, I set another goal, and I continue to set goals that are reachable for myself. I think a lot of times we set this huge goal at the top, and then we like, all right, I want to get here, but like, what are the steps in between? I feel like we don't have a plan of action in most times. It's like, you know what you want, but like, you don't go. And another thing, I'm a big like studying person. I go learn from other people. I do these panels. I watch documentaries too. So I think that's a big part of it too. It's like, you know, but slowing it down. That's the best advice I can give. Slowing it down, learning as much as you can. Even from a dummy, like, you can learn so much from somebody who's just talking. You know, like I done got some of the best games from like Lil JoJo from down the block. Like, because Lil JoJo live a different world than I do, right? Like, so he might be experiencing stuff that I'm not experiencing, and I'm big on that. Like, I learned a lot from this man. He don't even know that, you know? Like, just watching him and seeing how my artists react to what he's doing has enabled me to pivot, you know? Like, and show people, like, now I got somebody I can use as an example. Look at this man. Look what he doing. You know, like, you ain't him, but it's like, if people tell me to do what he doing, I think just learning, like, from everybody around you and, like, building that is, like, the key to success and, like, reaching the ultimate, like, the goal for yourself. Like, so, you know, like, breaking your goals down, slowing down, and then learning from your peers, learning from the people that came before you, learning from people with mistakes is probably, like, the biggest advice I can give my younger self. That's kind of what I think about. I think about stuff I didn't know. Dang, I wish I knew this 5 years ago.
I mean, I speak to both of those points, you know what I mean? But I say this is like zooming out to a bigger picture. Life moves in cycles. Sometimes you're gonna be up and sometimes you're gonna be down. But it's always gonna be a roller coaster ride until you out of here. So when you know that you're down, that's when the speed bumps come in. You gotta slow it down a little bit, you know what I mean? Like, okay, I'm down. Because sometimes I be down and I'm like, man, it's like, is what I'm saying not working with the people? Are they not resonating with it? Because I'm talking about publishing, you know what I mean? Like, I'm doing it. And the funny thing is, like, people call me, yo, I'm like, LaRussell, like, he's got the joint. I'm like, man, I've been saying the same thing, but that's not the point. The point is, like, for real, like, life is a cycle, so when you're down, understand that you're down. But don't trip out about it, like, and don't try to rush to the finish line right now. Because there are people out here that have a lot more experience on you, but in a few years, that experience is not really going to be worth any weight because you need new experience for all the new inventions and technology. So it's just understanding everything is a wave. Everything is a wave. Ride that sucker, because when you learn how to surf, that's when you can last a long time in this game. And then you might be, 50, 60 years old, still rocking out because you make stuff that's real for the people and you understand who you are. You know what I mean? That's really what the dream is about. We dreaming right now. You don't know that you're dreaming right now. I mean, you awake, but you technically are dreaming. Shout out to those mushroom trips, you know what I mean? But that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
I think one last point I want to say, I feel like a lot of people don't believe in themselves wholeheartedly. Like, one thing when I started this music thing, like, I didn't care. My mom, like, not to say she didn't support me, but my mom didn't really support it, right? So that was one of the biggest things. Like, I took that and was like, oh, if my mom ain't rocking with this, like, I can't walk in this world and think, like, I'm old support. You know, like, I think a lot of people get discouraged in that part. So I think believe in yourself and, like, all right, this is my mission. This is what I want to do. And they come back to them goals, like, set them goals and being like, I can do this. Because music will talk you out of it every day. Like, the moment you got to spend like $2,000 on the studio, or like, man, we spending $5,000 for a PR person every month right now. You start looking at this stuff and seeing how that money going into the account. And the money's slow in the music industry, don't get me wrong, but it's wonderful, but it's slow. So I think in those moments, like you said, having those down moments, still saying like, I'm gonna do this every day. And I know you probably experience this a lot, because you're an artist. I'm glad I'm not an artist. But like, people don't resonate, right? Or like you actually, like, I don't put stuff out. Like you gotta meet me in person, I don't want those type of people. But I've never had the experience like rejection to a certain point. So, but I can only imagine what they feel like. If I do get denied something, I just kind of tell myself, okay, that's not for me. I'm gonna move on to the next thing. Like I had a lot of artists, other executives, they hit a wall and they're like, okay, I'm done with music. And that's how you get tricked out, you know? Like music will trick you off the streets quicker than anything. Like it's like you will look up one day and be like, man, I thought I was gonna be the biggest artist ever. And the next day you're like, man, these people ain't rocking me, I'm gonna give up. And the moment you stop, somebody come out with a song, it sound like yours 5 minutes later, and then it blew up, and you lost because you gave up. You never know when you're up gonna be. So when you on your down, don't look like work towards your up, but don't think because your up don't come immediately. Everything's a part of the process. The good, the bad, the ugly, you take it all, you learn from it, and if you can create a lesson from it, then you're fine. You know, like that's the biggest thing. Because I feel like a lot of people deal with this, so I just wanted to put that out there because it's on the tip of my mind.
Nah, I appreciate that. That's just really dope shit, I think. Nah, because Casey said some shit. I literally just, so it's another shameless plug. I wasn't going to do this, but I do.
I'm finna do it.
I'm finna do it. I do Mental Mondays every Monday, and this past Monday episode was about staying focused when shit is up. And I always say, like, life comes in cycles. And one of the things I learned was, like, shit's gonna be up, shit's gonna be down. You know what I mean? You kind of stay in the middle. And so a lot of times we talk about like when shit's down, you know what I mean? Like, damn, this shit's fucked up, ain't shit going right for me. That's when you start hitting up your homies. That's when, you know what I mean? Like, that's when you start reaching out for that. But when shit is up, you ain't, you know, it is what it is, but you're not really keeping those same practices to keep staying aligned because it ain't gonna stay up, it's gonna come down. So how you gonna react when that happens? So, appreciate the insight. So, Kadeem, you are now in country music. We talked about that last year. Big step for your brother. I wanted to ask you, so last year we were talking into, you know, a lot of publishing and all that, but you mostly dealt with it in hip-hop, right? So hip-hop. What are the things now that you're in country music
Music is fun. Not good at all, but it's different, right? I work for hires in country music, so like challenging them to pay producers and give publishing to producers, like it's needed though. Somebody need to go over there and like rate that shit, like I'm gonna be real. Because it's like it's a lot of people that don't know that they missing out on royalties and publishing. Like I have a producer in the country that work with Jelly Roll. I love Jelly Roll, that's my guy. But at the same time, Jelly Roll, like team, right? They not thinking like, hey, we gotta get this man pub because he come from the hip hop space. But like Jelly Roll know what's going on in these spaces. It's 50-50, my brother. But now that he in country, like he ain't running the, he ain't running this show, so his company's like, yeah, we're gonna slap this work for hire down. I'm like, work for hire? Nah. We're gonna get it publishing. So I think like challenging that, and then we just like, at the end of the day, this all our music. I don't care what nobody say, like, if you come to Nashville, you go to African American Museum of Music, you will see like that, we have influences in all of these different genres for us to not be in a genre or not be celebrated in a genre. By us as a people or by, our counterparts is becoming a problem. So jumping in the country was about that. Like, I can do a lot of shameless publicity. I got a lot of country music coming out. Shot Carter from Memphis, he's gonna drop with Frank Ray, which is a Hispanic artist. So I'm really trying to push that line because, Hispanic community is 40% of the income for country music right now. And people don't know that. Like, that's all the listeners. So why don't we not have like big artists? Like you supporting people that, like don't look like you, right? And that don't make sense. But they have artists in this genre, and it's just been a whirlwind in Nashville just trying to make sure. And it's come a long way, but it got a long way to go. Because now what they're doing is taking our practices and just giving them more than water, or like, so it's like crazy, but you know, it's been a great process because I've been able to challenge the music industry, and that's what I love more than anything. Like breaking an artist is cool, but when you get a whole genre to wake up to something and be like, okay, we're gonna really take people outside of the white male standard of country and give them an opportunity, that's amazing. And not just kick down the door for the hood. You know, that's like his dad's a country artist. People don't really know that. So it's like he deserves to be celebrated in country. Like, you know, like Shaq Carter too, like I'm saying, he deserves to be like celebrated in this space. So it's been different, you know, like I said, the publishing is different, the royalty, the points, like they don't really do like us. And I really like how's that? It's not like so over there, it's a little different to the fact where, like, okay, let's say all of us working on a song, right? What did you do on the song? You gave me 3 words, so you get 1%. What you do on the song? You did like 15 words, so you get like maybe 5%. If this is country, it don't matter if you said 1 word, it's an even split across the board, and it's crazy. So that's why they don't get a producer's version, because they give it all to the writers and the artists. So it's a little different. It's how it used to be. Like sometimes, like, you know, like that's how the music industry was at one point. Like, let's just pay out this band and they good. They ain't making no residuals. And then the writers and everybody in the room just puts down the rest of it. So that's different because I'm producer first. You know, I love my artists, I love artists in general, but you know, like I started and I got in the game working with producers. So for them to be X'd out of this is like crazy to me. So that was one of the biggest things. And then the deals are a lot different too on the countryside. Like they sign everything away, nobody cares. They in 360s and that's the standard over there. You know, like if you don't have a label deal, it's like, oh, you're elf. You know, it's like you're not getting radio play. There's no independence in your country. Like it doesn't exist. Like if you try to be independent, they're gonna blackball you. It's like just a point where they're not gonna support you. Their industry is really controlled by Nashville. It doesn't leave past Nashville. There's no way around it. It's like you can kind of create your own motion, but like that's kind of as far as it's gonna go. So it's a lot different. Like us, like I don't slap this song up on Distro Kid and keep it rolling. They do that, it's not gonna get no support really. So challenging them to change that. Challenging them to treat women better in the country because they don't care, you know, about women in the country. That's been a challenge too. So it's a lot of challenges that people probably not thinking about because hip hop got all these challenges too. Yeah. So, but I think fixing a place like Nashville and country music like can affect hip hop because like the people who are the playmakers start, you know, like understanding like, okay, we gotta change the way we do stuff, we gotta change the way we treat people. Then it collectively helps roll down. I'm big on trickle effects. Like if we can bust this bubble, then we can like help other people along the way. So yeah, that's my Nashville. I can go on and on. I won't worry about it.
I was going to ask you that because I know we talked about it last year. I want to see how the publishing line differed.
But the money's cool, so you don't have to be big. Like you can tour and stuff without your records, which is way different than our genre. So that's kind of cool. Like I got a lot of like people getting paid $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, and they don't even got songs on streaming, which is like you look like what? Like it's like kind of like they take it's impossible in our genre hip hop. But like learning from that and like seeing like oh they really care about their fan base in country. It's not really about them. It's about the music, but it's really about can I make you get up? Am I like I said Jelly Roll? Can I fill a stadium? Can I make you feel something? Or if I go out, can I sell tickets? That's what it's all about over there. And I think that's what's hurting hip hop like right now too. A lot of people can't sell tickets. Yeah. So like it's like they on the like it's like different genres are on different phases of they like we worrying about ticket sales now, they worrying about streaming in the country. Like it's like we flipping the flop. So I like being in both so I can kind of like bring the knowledge I learned from country. Country's also way more structured than hip hop will ever be in their life. Like, you know, like you gotta have a team, you gotta have agent. You gotta have a publisher, you gotta have a label. That's what makes you a country artist. You know, like if you just kind of flying by your seat, you got like BMI and you just trying to do it, like it don't really work like that. Like that's not how they get down, it's gonna confuse them, they're gonna be looking around, like, what is this? So learning that, something we really don't have in hip hop. It's not really like they can give you a blueprint in the country. Like if you follow this, it's gonna make your artist successful. Like it's not really a lot of that where we are in hip hop right now. So learning that like is important because we need structure. We need to know about the business. like structure can change the system. They have systems in the country, like everything flows, you know, and I feel like that's what kind of hurt us. You know, like in hip hop, it's like we don't have systems built, so it's like we just trying to fly by, see, we gonna figure it out, we gonna kind of put some stuff in order and hope it work out. They not getting lucky in the country. Everything is like just like it's stats, data. It's like they got me looking at data that I never was looking at in my life. But I'm so glad that I see it now because now you know how like super fans, like you know, super fans and like touring, like that stuff is like how you really last long. That's why, you know, like Chris Stapleton can sell out tours no matter what. It don't matter where you know, like Taylor Swift came from country too. That's why she got a fan base the way she do, right? Like they are in this space where like we really connected with our fans. Point like all this streaming, getting on content, all that. They like, nah, we gonna put on the best show we can possibly do and people gonna offer us. So it's been interesting for sure. I appreciate you asking. People don't really ask me about country like this.
Yeah, nah.
That's why I'm doing something for country.
Yeah, nah, for sure. All right, so this is for Casey. So I seen you put up about marketing as far as like an artist. If you're working with a low budget, you should focus more on the publicity or like word of mouth and getting out the network versus advertising. Can you elaborate that a little bit more, especially for like somebody that is doing that in here?
Yeah, and I think LaRussell can elaborate on this as well.
Yeah, for sure.
But in the beginning, when you first start out, the dollar, first of all, the dollar is crap anyway. But the dollar, the worth of your dollar running the ad in the beginning costs you more as an independent artist. If you had a budget, cool, you ain't tripping about the money. But in the beginning, that dollar costs you way more than it would if you were just like, if you had some following already, and then, you know, people, oh yeah, I saw that guy, heard of, my friend told me about it, yada, yada, yada. So that's what I'm saying. So then you want to go and get your word of mouth, which is, you know what I mean, whether it be through influencers, like in Atlanta, we have community radio, like WRFG, like that was the spot for everybody to go to. You want to get your interview, get your song on the radio, you know, and just develop a relationship with the community, and the community can begin to support you. Word of mouth, advertising first before you start to spend your money on the ads, you know what I'm saying? Because that dollar doesn't go as far. And the number one thing I hear from people is like, man, I spent all this money on ads. But the thing about it is when you start with the word of mouth, you're going to get that direct feedback on if your audio dopamine is good. Because if you ain't selling good dope to the streets, but if you're not, I was just having this conversation downstairs. Like that's technically, you give it audio dopamine to the brain. So when you go and you do word of mouth with people, you know, take a listen to this. And then you can feel people. You get your litmus test. You get all that stuff going first. This is the beginning. Like not like, yeah, we up now. We looking good. You know, we got, you know, quite a few thousand people in our city or in our local tri-city area. You know what I mean? That's what I was saying about that. Word of mouth is like PR. I need to have an interview. I need to have something locally. Local press, like when Creative Local was really popping in Atlanta, right? Like the local artist Chattanooga paper or whatever that handles that stuff. Like that's what you're looking for in the beginning. And then you can begin to experiment with the content and whatever's winning. You can say, okay, yeah, I think we're ready to spend some money on advertising. So I see people really run on credit cards early, thinking that that's it. You know what I mean? So yeah, but I want to hear what Russell got to say.
Yeah, that's what you did.
Yeah, I think what you're saying, I think it's important before you even go into the ad space or the marketing space to have a product, right? That is great because that's what, the ads is just like people. Like you gotta make things risk-free for people. Like I don't want to tell my homie about your shit unless it's fire. Like if it's fire, it's easy for me to be like, hey bro, you gotta go check that out. But when someone doesn't feel like that about the product, I might not put everybody on, I might put a few on, you feel me? So I think you work on the product first. And the product usually tells you, right? Like the ad is the same way. The ad doesn't want to take a risk. If the ad is like, I'm going to charge you $1.50 for this because I'm taking a risk putting it in front of people and they keep turning it down because you didn't vet your product first. You feel me? If you got a good product, the ad going to be like, it's only going to cost 6 cents for me to get this in front of people because because they know that people already like it. So I think that product is first before you even go into, and great product creates word of mouth. People talk about the dope shit. Y'all remember the Popeye chicken sandwich? It don't even matter if it wasn't hidden. Like the whole world was talking about it because they created that type of craze around the product first. And sometimes we like to go opposite. Like the labels will spend a huge budget on something before you ever hear a song on the radio and it's like, damn, y'all breaking this song to us? We didn't even decide if this was a song we wanted to hear. You feel me? You're doing that in advance when you can put the product out and build that buzz first and let people decide what they like. And then go run the ad, and you have a, it's an easier way. Like build it organically first, and then go into that side of it.
I was just about to add to that because I'm gonna use FNF for an example. So we put FNF out on Facebook, no label, me and his kids were like, hey, go do this, hurry up, do this song, shoot this video real quick. We ain't spending no money really, we trying to keep our costs low because it's just me and his kid, right? Biggest man we did, put it on Facebook. People look at us, why y'all put it on Facebook? Then go went crazy. You know why I use Facebook? Because more y'all tap into Facebook than any other social media, y'all just don't realize. You gonna get on Facebook and talk to your people, look around, and when somebody puts something big on Facebook, you get enough people to engage with it. We ain't spent $1 on ads yet. Boom, I'm just gonna add that right there. Now, song already blowing up, still ain't spending no money on ads. We get into a situation when we do the deal. I'm telling them, don't put no ad money into this song yet. I told them day one, I said, wait. I said, what I want to focus on is the internet. Let's get people talking about it. Let's get it grooving. Remember that pregnant girl in that video? We talked about that for a long time. You know what I'm saying? It got everybody engaged. And I said, go run it up. Then when everybody start getting involved, then that's when we start slamming it on people. That's when we went to radio. You know what I'm saying? Because ads and radio, I can't do that song with the radio expensive. It's way more expensive than ads. But when you run the ads, you kind of just, you feed it to, because you don't know who you feeding it to, right? That's one thing, like, how can you gauge, because you ain't just wasting money. You really wasting money seeing who mess with you. So I like to do that with the music first. And then once I see, okay, because you can go through the stats and like, okay, now I know where to run my ads at now. And that's what we did. We want to see who we're rocking with it. And I think a lot of people make that mistake. It's like, I got to run ads immediately. Because you know what your fear is? You're scared because ain't nobody going to tap in. So you know why you run ads? To amplify what you're doing. That ain't real. You know what I'm saying?
Everything isn't even ad worthy. And I had to learn that early. Like I used to do things and I'm like, people need to see this. And it was like, it wasn't even cracking the threshold. Like now before I run an ad, something has to hit a threshold for me to be like, okay, we can spin this on this and it makes sense. But everything isn't to that point. Sometimes you really got to get back in there and just make something doper first. It's like sometimes the ones we think is the one, it's like, it ain't. Go make some more. You feel me? You'll get one that is, and that'll tell you want to get behind it and want to put everything up.
For sure, good answers. So this is the 50th anniversary of hip hop. This year, and obviously we're celebrating that throughout the year, all throughout hip-hop, also in Chattanooga. But I saw LaRussell posted Hip-Hop is Under Siege recently.
Hip-hop is
Under Siege, and got quite a reaction, my brother. So I wanted all y'all to kind of jump on that because I feel that as well in different ways. I probably feel a little differently as a podcaster, but because kind of touched on it in my last panel as far as like interviews and how media is put out, how you can like lie and bullshit pretty much people believe it. So elaborate on when you posted that, what were you meaning behind that?
I mean exactly how it sounds. Hip-hop is under siege. It's some days it'd be really disheartening for me because I love hip-hop and I love the culture. And when you look at some of these laws, and it's like, who the fuck owns this? And who is behind this? And who is pushing this narrative? And who's deciding that this is what we're going to speak on? I had did an interview with Brandman Sean, and they have posted a clip, and the verbiage around it, I had to text him and be like, yo, this isn't cool. This ain't what happened. And he explained to me like, oh, that's because the editors is from this. They don't know. I be having to tell them. And that's what is happening with hip-hop as a whole. You got a whole bunch of people who don't truly know or truly care who operates and funds and runs the culture. Like, Def Jam is a black ran label that was once a black-owned label that is now funded by Universal. You feel me? That, to me, it's a bit of a conflict of interest when you're trying to get out black ideology and spread messages that needs to be shared in a certain way, because it's like you don't know how to communicate with the niggas that I know how to communicate with, but you're telling me how I'm gonna do it, and you're determining how it's delivered, and you also determine how much gets delivered, right? And what we hear first, and my whole thing is like, I love that everybody gets a chance in hip-hop now, partially. Like, I think it's cool that a nigga could come up and make a crazy song and it could go viral. And I think that has its importance, but it also has to be balanced. There's no reason I shouldn't be hearing a Lauryn Hill too. My whole thing is just like, why can't I get both? Why are you only feeding me this shit? And niggas be like, you know, it's good music out there, you gotta go die for it. And it's like, bro, I shouldn't have to die for what's good for me. That's some crazy shit. Like, yeah, it does exist. But I should hear it on the radio just like I hear that other shit, because it's fire as well and it has its place. Like, we had a time where you could turn on the radio and you could hear Hov and Outkast and Lauryn Hill and Pac and Big all at once. If you turn the radio on right now, you might lose your fucking mind. You feel me? Like, it's a huge disparity in what's happening, and that's because we're under the siege and the ownership has changed. And with the ownership change, the ethics have changed. The people who are over it and running it now, they just don't care as much because they're not affected by it. If I can go home to my mansion and not hear shit about the decision I made in the office today, then I'm never going to change it because I'm not affected by that.
Yeah, I think the biggest part is the last part you just said, right? A lot of people are making the decisions, even the media outlets, they getting paid regardless. Regardless. So it don't matter if the song is like doing well, like if it's talking about positive stuff. I'm gonna tell you what they care about. How we gonna make some money today? Right. That's what every CEO talking about.
And that's been the ethics that's getting instilled. Like, you can buy your way onto media now. Like, I own a media company, and you can't pay me shit to fuck with you, ever. Like, if I don't love it, it's just not happening, and there's nothing you could do about that. But now you could buy your way in front of 1 billion people, and your message could be the most destructive thing in the world, and it's okay. We just don't let it rock. There's no one saying, nah, we're not giving that to the kids, because that shit just ain't for the kids. You feel me? That has left, and that's what makes me say it's under siege, because you don't have any. Gatekeepers are necessary to a certain extent. It's not necessarily gatekeeping, it's just like the OG on your block who like, nah, nigga, don't go hop they fence, because that's not what we do. You shouldn't be on that type of time, you feel me? It's a necessity.
I mean, I'll say to that I think that, I know because I've read many studies, there's a study that Harvard did on Columbia Records and CBS Records back when R&B was really, really popular. And that's when they began to take control of anything that we did that became hot. And the funny thing is, like, me and my guy Steve, you all may know this group from the 90s named Arrested Development. And I work with him heavy, man. He's a great mentor to me. And we had this conversation. He was like, yo, you ever find that study yet? And I'm like, yeah, I'm looking, I'm trying to find it. But in this study, there's so much data that they had compiled in the 70s to figure out how to take everything that we did, like in Philadelphia International and all those people, you know what I mean, to turn it into CBS, to move it into CBS, and then move it into Columbia Records. So it's been going on for a while. Anything we make hot, they're going to figure out, okay, this is what NWA comes along. Hey, we can use this, man. Brand Nubian and Arrested Development right there at 91, 92, 93. Hey, man, it's too conscious right now. We need a little bit less, because it's too conscious to make the money that we want to make. So we got to turn the consciousness down. And now that everybody's so concerned about mental health and awareness, and the consciousness is raising, we know this is going on in the community. This is what people talking about in the streets. But now that we have a tweet like you made, we want to see a balance. Why hasn't there been a Lauryn Hill? Where's Erica about? The second Erica about? And that's what this game has always been about, is filling voids. But then when you don't want the game to elevate to where it could be, let's degenerate it. Because we still gonna make our money, but we don't want them to climb up there where they can, you let us climb, we gonna tear the streets up. I mean, money-wise, we gonna come out with bags. It's a mental thing, you know what I mean? There is positive and there is negative. We need both, but we can't have the negative weighing everything down, you know what I'm saying? That's what, and you know, it's been going on for a minute, man.
Absolutely.
But it's
just a very harsh point right now, though. I think
it is.
It's so easy for people to make music. It's so easy for you to put it out. It's so easy for you to pay for it, like you said, to get it in front of people. Especially in hip hop, it seems to be like, you know, I think, and even when I was talking about country, like even if you look at, you know, the content, you know what I'm saying, like the hip hop content versus country content is a very vast difference. You know what I mean? So like. And that's what's marketed. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's been an open discussion about how hip-hop sales are down this year. Like, nobody can sell tickets and rap.
You know what's crazy? Hip-hop sales are never down. It's just a reflection of the product. I sell tickets all year.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like, that product is down. Yeah, niggas don't want to eat Big Macs.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean hip-hop is down. That means, like, we don't want to hear that shit.
No, it's gonna mean everybody don't want hamburgers.
Exactly. But they trying to make it as a reflection of the genre and put out statements like that when it's just not true.
I'm glad you said it.
I feel like, that's what I was finna say. I feel like really it's on the seeds because like they say hip hop down, but it's because hip hop is tired of the same stuff over and over and over again. It's not like it's not winning. It's just that y'all cookie cutter mentality has ran out now. Like there's no more overnight success. You can't use TikTok. They gonna switch their algorithm up. It's like these things that helped you be successful, and they still trying to do it because. And I had this conversation the other day, and I hate saying this. I hate talking bad about our people, right? But they opened the door up and let a lot of executives that look like us in. And I had conversations with them. They work at labels that I have artists at all the time, and I'm mad most of the time because these are the people who should care the most. They look like us. And they finally gave us presidents and senior directors. We only had A&Rs at one point, right? So now that we got people in these bigger seats, and you like, oh, I'm gonna hire my homie again. My homie, he been in the music industry forever, but then your homie come in and his marketing plan is, oh, I'm gonna go create another FNF. Well, like 17 people I deal with like that every day with artists. So it's like, that's what it is. Like they've reached this point where they've hit a wall. And now they want to just blame the artist. It's like the artist, they ain't signing themselves. You know what I'm saying? And most of the stuff that blow up is because a bigger label got behind it and spoon fed it to you to the point where like, oh, I gotta rock with this. Like I heard it 17 times. I see it on my timeline. Bungos came out. I love Bungos. I love this one. But it came out. I was telling my wife, you probably don't like it now, but give it out 2 weeks. You ain't have no choice. It's gonna get twisted to your head to the point where if you can't like the song, you can bungo.
You know what's crazy? That's why we kind of in a beautiful, we at that low on the roller coaster, but it's a beautiful time because like it was at a point where it felt like even if you didn't fuck with it, give it 17 weeks, but now it's feeling like niggas is like, no. I don't like that shit, you feel me? And I think that's an important, we've allowed niggas to graduate who couldn't read for too long, and it's like, we can't. You have a due diligence. You have a due diligence, you feel me? It's like, why would you advance him and you know that he doesn't have the skill necessary or required to navigate what y'all gonna demand from him when he get there? You got a drop on that. And then you got a drop. And that it's fucked up, but it's because the people don't care. That care just isn't there, you feel me? They don't love hip-hop. Lucci and Grange don't love hip-hop. You feel me? Like that just, it just is what it is, you feel me? And you can't fault him for not loving it. He didn't come up on that shit. That's not his culture. But he's in charge of putting people in charge of that culture and how we hear it and how it's delivered to us. You feel me? So it's always going to be a disparity there.
Speaking of Big Macs,
I'll give you a shot, but as soon as that BS meter starts ticking off, I'm like, yeah, man, all right, we good. You know what I mean? So,
I think it's really, like, it's kind of, I feel what he's saying, and I get where he's trying to say, but, you know, Dang, like, he kind of like make broad statements, not in a bad way, but like, yeah, I get him, like, don't listen, nobody got a dream, like, that's a PR moment. But I think, like, when he meant was like, don't listen to anybody that probably derail you from your dream, or like, don't dream as big as you, because I have one, it's like, I've had artists, or people who just don't want it, you know, like, it happens, and they can be discouraging. But when it comes to listening to people and getting knowledge from people, like I said, like you can get knowledge from the guy on the corner because he been in the woods. You know what I'm saying? You might not know what the woods look like, so he can tell you ahead of time. So I wouldn't say don't listen to anybody. Like, cause Kanye said a lot. Like, why would I listen to somebody that's broken than me? Because you don't want to be broke. You know what I'm saying? Like, so listen to them, figure out what they doing, and learn from their mistakes, and don't do it, or do something differently that might get you to where you want to go. So I feel what he's saying. Like, just don't let people discourage you from your dreams. What I would say, or like, don't let people get you off track of what you're trying to do because they're not a dreamer like you. Because like he said, everybody has a dream. Like everybody wants something. But they're just like floating with it, you know, like I guess my mom is like a floater, like not a bad way, but she's logical, right? She's like, all right, I'm gonna go get a job, I'm gonna get a degree, I'm gonna go home, I'm gonna go to church. And that's cool for her, and that's a dream. That might have been her dream. To me, it might not be a dream, but to her, that's probably all she wanted. And like and kids, you know what I'm saying? But like, I think it's like, but she also like is happy. So who am I to tell her she ain't dreaming or didn't reach where she wanted to be? You know, like, well, I also learned a lot from my mom, and like in this space because my mom is one of the people like I said, it's logic. It's like it's still wrong to think about because I'm back here in my mind, like man, nah, I'm gonna be on God. You know what I'm saying? My mom like, nah, get you a boat. And sometimes they had to get a boat. You know what I'm saying? Like my mom like, nah, you can afford the boat. You know what I'm saying? But my mom like, yacht. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't doing nothing until I get the yacht. And my mom like kind of slowed me down, like, nah, man, it's like steps in between. And so I it's like if I didn't listen to her, cause my dad's the hustler, right? My mom's the college person. So if I didn't listen to both of them, I wouldn't be who I am. And I think that's the key, is like taking what the good from those people or the people around you and then turning it into what you want to do.
For sure. So I guess this photo kind of was a little bit personal for me. I got some legends sitting up here, so I am selfish with my dream. Like it's hard for me to accept people in my vision, especially even a small sort of thing. Like it could be like, well, let's put the episode out at 7. Well, I won't put it out at 8. Get the fuck, we don't mean like type shit. So like, which is not good. I think it's important to have a team, and I talk about that quite a bit. So how do you get to where you allow yourself to accept that help and allow yourself to get a circle to help your business grow?
bro, you gotta, first of all, you ego tripping.
I know.
That's what that is. Now, I'm gonna tell you right now, like without a team, it ain't happening.
Yeah.
An artist needs 3 people initially in the nucleus of the initial team, right? You're gonna need somebody on the creative side, you're gonna need somebody on the business side. That creative side can be the person who knows how to do really great content or make beats. It's gonna be one of the 2. You start with those 3, and then eventually your tree it branches out. You know what I mean? But trying to do it all yourself, man, you're gonna burn out quicker than you think. You can't do this yourself. You can't live in the world by yourself, and you can't grow by yourself. A plant can't grow by itself. So what are we doing? Everybody is like up here. I gotta get all the money, man. I got it, man. It's mine. That's really where you at with it. But without the help of everybody else, it's just not gonna work. You know what I mean? And then you start spinning your wheels in circles once you got it so far. So You know, it's like when I see y'all, like I see good company, I see TT, I see you, it's like, I got my people behind me. People don't see it. They see it in the emails when they think they're talking to me, and it's like, I'm not answering these emails. And like, we want to talk. No, you gotta talk to the team. You gotta, everybody here mentally has to understand the foundation of the team and what it will do for them. And if you don't have one, it'll come. Just start pushing your car down the road. I know I ain't got no gas in it. Push it down the road. Somebody gonna see you pushing. They're like, hey man, you need some help. I mean, 100 people might fly by, especially in Atlanta, there might be 1,000 people that fly by. And then somebody say, hey man, you gonna give me some help. Let me start pushing. What's your name? My name is this. Oh, I do this. Oh, cool, man. And the creator puts you together like that. Man, I do videos. I'm an artist. Cool, man. We'll help me get this tire changed. See what I'm saying? Push the car down the road first. When people see you working, the rest of the team won't come. But please do not do this thinking that you're going to make it by yourself and pocket all the money. Because 100% ownership in a song to one person, well, ownership that goes to the label or whatever. But getting 100% of the money in your pocket by yourself, doing this, it don't happen, Chief. It don't happen.
Yeah, you can't let self-preservation become self-imprisonment, right? And that's some shit I had to learn. It's funny when T first started helping me, like with socials and stuff, we had a schedule that we were gonna post on, but I wasn't letting shit go. I'm like, I'm gonna do everything, right? And sometimes we'll have a double post, cause she's like, why'd you post? And I'm like, nigga, cause I ain't seen nothing at 3 o'clock. And then it turns me up. So it's like, even the people who help you, like they have to earn that. Eventually it got to a point where I don't have to because I know she has it, but she had to do all the things to make me feel that comfort in that. So you have to be self-preserving, but you can't let it imprison you to where you can't grow. Because sometimes you be so self-preserving that you can't even, the same walls you built up, you can't get out of now. You feel me? And you gotta put a door on them so you can go in and out of it.
I think the biggest thing for me, like it forced me to get a team, was failure. You know, like feeling by yourself, like bumping your head real quick. You be like, damn, man, I should have just hired that lawyer. I wouldn't be in this mess right now. Damn, I should have never tried to make that cover art by myself. That shit trash. Like, when I started off early, like, and my biggest partner over there, Bernie, he'll tell you, like, my biggest thing, I was like, man, I just ain't got time to be like dealing with nothing else. So I'm just doing myself. I think, and once you get out of there, you break out of there and be like, okay, you know, I don't have time because I'm trying to do everything by myself. If I like delegate, like that was one of the biggest things I had to learn how to do, delegate. And that's what makes you a good CEO. Like learning how to delegate. Like that's literally my job now. It's like when something comes across my desk, all right, who am I giving this to? It used to be like, all right, let me hurry up and do this real quick for my wife called me to do something. Now it's like you start thinking differently, and then like also I like helping people get to where I'm at. I think that's probably like the biggest thing too. Like I don't want to share the success by myself. I don't want to look around, all this stuff worked out, and then I'm looking around like, dang, who am I gonna celebrate this week? You know, it's like one of them type of things too. I think that really like put it in perspective for me too. Like 'cause I got like going. And like stuff started piling up, and I'm like, dang, I am doing this by myself. And I was like, I'm crazy. You know, like, I was like, out of the entertainment. Like, you know, like, it don't hurt to like learn it. Like, I don't think it was ever like a bad situation I was in. Like, I needed to make that bump. I'm pretty sure you hit your head a couple times. I'm pretty sure you hit your head when you got to turn two. And you're like, let me spread this wolf out. Let me spread this. Because like I said at the beginning, like, my thing was empowering people, right? Like, I wanted to take people that look like me and put them in a position, but how can I do that when I'm doing everything? Like, it's like when your supervisor at work wants you to be, like, you want to be a supervisor, but your supervisor's like, no, I got it, bro. Every time you do something, like, how you gonna ever grow? Like, and I think, like, that's the kind of thing. I don't even think it's an ego thing, I think it's a fear thing. You scared of somebody messing up. And then it's like, cause it's your baby. You know, and people tell me all the time, but, you know, like, my mom had to let my grandma watch me, my auntie watch me, my cousin watch me, ain't nothing happening. You know what I'm saying? So it took that, right? It took me learning, like, it took a village. If this my kid, empower my kid, and it took a village to raise me, how I think I'm gonna raise power by myself. Like, I want this to be a multi-billion-dollar company one day. I can't do it by myself. So I think that's what it was. It was one of those things where like, you had to get them slap in the face for me, and I was like, all right, next time I do this, I'm gonna do it with my team. I'm gonna take a little stress out of myself, help my mental health, you know, and like really like set goals on the team. Like I think that was the biggest thing. And then like now you can sit back and like you can go on them dinners with your girl and not have to worry about your company. Like, cause I tell everybody, if your company ain't running by us by itself, then it's a hobby. Straight up, like, cause it's something that constantly requires. You can't grow. You can't do anything else. I can't work on power films if I'm working on power entertainment. I can't work on power sports if I'm working on power films. I have to find people in these spaces. I think that's what I'm good at too. I know I don't know everything. I am dumb. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to that, you know, like if I don't do sports, I'm not doing sports. I'm going to holler at my homie who got that sports ACE degree, and he gonna do the sports session for me, and we gonna work on it together. And now I just brought him in. He owns 50% of the company, right? Now it's bigger than just me. It's like it's all of us involved, and now we create residual income for not just my kids, but I want his kids to eat too. And I think that's why I like Pete and Coach K, because that's what they really own over there. Like anybody who going to business with them, you kind of get a little equity, and I was like, oh, this makes sense. So it's like you just think bigger, you know what I'm saying? Like I think that's what it's all about.
You hit it on the head as far as the fear. I think with me too, it's like it's my baby every step. So I know I'm the only one that's like, at the end of the day, in my heart of hearts, like, is anybody gonna work as hard as
You know, ego in general, like you said that, it had me thinking like, ego in general is an extreme manifestation of emotion, whether that be fear or confidence or sorrow or whatever. Like ego is not, it's something we all kind of lean on when we don't want to stand in the human that we be in that situation, but it's an extreme manifestation of emotion. So sometimes that is fear. And when you being egoic, you have to really look at yourself and ask why that's happening, right? And you get to that root of it. Sometimes it's your fear of this thing that is your baby. You don't want to let it go, but imagine not letting your baby go to school or go outside and play with the homies so he can learn how to hoop and all of that. You feel me? Like it becomes a hindrance.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, man, it's really, I just want to say, it's just all mental, man. And I'll share this too. My breakdown came when I needed a team, when I couldn't handle customer service. And I started losing money. People like, yo, you know what I'm saying? I got this problem. I paid for this product. I can't get it. What's going on? You know what I mean? And then when the money starts going, then people start throwing tomatoes. And when that happens, then your brand goes down. So, you know what I mean? You got this got to do something.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad y'all telling me this because I needed a pep talk today. All right, so I got 5 more minutes, so I'll do 3 more minutes. Damn.
You gotta get some of theirs because they came for this.
You have a question?
Yeah, we gotta get.
All right, let's do some questions. Oh, okay. Okay, anyways. All right, 3 minutes. So we got a lot of independent artists in here. You guys are all connected as far as independent artists, work with them. I guess we can end on advice as we've been giving out. What is the biggest challenge and the biggest triumphs that you've seen working with independent artists and then also as an independent artist?
I'm gonna start with the bad stuff, right? Like just the stuff that you have to deal with as an independent artist. You asking, or like the stuff that come like what you mean?
I mean, like, so yeah, what comes with it, like like working as an independent artist.
You broke. That's like everybody can relate to that. Like, you know, like at the end of the day, that's what it is. Like music is pay to play. You ain't got no money. What's more like that? But I think on the flip side of that, the success I've had with keeping people independent and trying to figure out an independent space is like we don't really have to follow the rules. You know, I feel like we ain't got to drop on Friday. We don't care about Billboard right now. If we do, we get on there anyway. You know, like that's the type of thing I think it's one of those things like independency is gonna be fun, but it's also gonna suck until you get to a good partner. Because you be independent and have a good partner, right? I think I talked about that last time I was here. Like partnerships is probably like my bread and butter. Like who gonna give me this exclusive licensing deal? Who gonna give me this admin deal and get out my business? And not try to take my ownership, right? Like, I think that's the biggest thing. So those are like triumphs. It's like, you know, if independently, I don't care what CMG Interscope say, that's black. It's Camp South, you know what I'm saying? Black, go check out the plaque, go check out the data, you know what I'm saying? Like, so that's one of them big triumphs. Is like, oh, we did it, you know? Like, we weren't even trying to like get a Grammy and like this. So they mean like this is God, you know? And I'm the way I look at it, like, so that's one of them things. Like, now you know you on a path for success, and now you know the bigger triumph is teaching people how to do that too. You know, like once you find the success, like, all right, cool, let me go to my roster. Cool, we made celebrities. Everybody get out there, made celebrities. I got a partner, we got different situations we can go to. Let's figure this out now, because now we got a different pathway. Create that pathway, create a blueprint for yourself independently, gaining your fans, not having to depend on streaming numbers and ads and like all that. You can really engage with your fans independently. Like, it's over. Like, that's the biggest triumph. Like, finding out like, oh, these folks really love me. It don't matter what I'm selling. Like, I feel like at this point, he kid almost at the point where he can put out a coloring book and y'all don't buy it. Because it's him, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I need coloring books.
But it's just because of like, he got a good personality, right? Like, now people that fell in love with him and like, it's gonna keep going. I think that's the biggest thing. But like, you know, as far as the bad stuff, it's like dealing with the majors. Because anything independent, they gonna try to attack it because, believe this in mind, people don't want independent artists to win. I'm pretty sure you have realized that now. Like, people really want independence to stop because they want people dependent on something. So if you're not dependent on a label, you are a threat to the music industry. And I realized that when FNF was Studio, because it's like, why are y'all so mad? It makes no sense. You should be clapping for us. We just did this at a time where nobody was really doing it, right? You should be celebrating this, but all I got was y'all. If you would have come over here to Interscope, it would have been much bigger. I don't care about that. It's as big as it was. Like, where it went was where it needed to go. Like, I don't care about having that big budget. A lot of people are like, why y'all ain't go get $1 million deal? For what? Now we in a debt $1 million with 15-20% interest. Y'all ain't thinking like that. You know what I'm saying? So I think that when you slow stuff down and you're independent, it kind of open up this world of like, dang, like I can remove the smoke and mirrors. I can really see the music industry for what it is, and I can live with it. You know, like I feel like that's where I'm at now. It's like I see what's going on in this game because I've had independent success. How do I keep doing this? And I know like what not to do. And you can't really learn that because you sign a deal, you just kind of going with the flow. You don't really never learn as much as you want to. Like you kind of just doing what people tell you to do and going in the direction they want to so their company can make money. So it's like that's the kind of dividing factor for me working with independent artists and even like turning producers into like producers that can independently put out music. Because a lot of people not thinking about that either, right? So all of those things, it's just like we trying to be pioneers in the music. I never got in the music industry and was like, oh, the last 50 years they did X, Y, and Z, I'm gonna just copy it. I look like, what is not happening? Like, how do I create that? And how do I do that? And I think like independence gives you that free reign to think about that because you're not worried about a hit on the back of your head. You know, like it's more so about like, let me get my money, make sure I'm comfortable, take care of my family, and I can go when I want to. I don't have to go when somebody else tell me. I don't have to stop when somebody else tell me. And it's like those are the biggest things I can take away from it for sure.
I forgot the question, but I know it was about challenges, right? Like biggest challenges. I think the biggest challenge that I see every day is, well, first of all, there was you know, for the last 30 years, there's been a revolution of artists wanting to own their masters. And probably longer than that, you know what I mean? But now we're in a space where everything is, we see this shift because of technology, and a lot more people want to keep things independently done. And I'm all for that. But the biggest challenge that we have with everybody here is you all don't realize that you're actually running a business. So if you're gonna own masters, you gotta understand that something has to own that. And if you're gonna scale, you're gonna need a business. And the hardest thing that I see that we're trying to get through is breaking through an advance check at the label versus cash flow that you have, I have, Kadeem has. When you go and you say, man, you know what, I'm trying to cash out. It's funny, I'm just having all these conversations with one of my clients downstairs. So When you trade off your cash flow for an advance check, which is a one-time payment that's going to get taxed by the IRS, your manager going to take a piece, the lawyer going to take a piece, and whoever else need to take a piece of that advance is broke down and gone. Because I done been through this with people, I done seen it, and they end up broke, and they still got to go out here and do shows. So we're fighting with that mentality, and I see that's the biggest challenge. Number one, as an independent artist, you run a business, and you're trying to get cash flow, so you ain't got to sign to a major label. And if you say, I'm tired and I want to cash out, well, go get you $100,000, which is a horrible deal, or go get you $1 million, which could be horrible too. You know what I'm saying? You could do that. But now, y'all, it just boils down to, yo, we are business owners now. I know you're creative. I know this is a little bit logical, but that's just what it is. But that's where your other two people gonna come in, creatively and logistically. They're gonna help you out. But push the car down the road. But number one, you running a business. And that's the biggest challenge that a lot of new independents are really facing now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That too?
I think it's getting that resource. And I even think getting to the point now, like, I'm in a position where I never considered signing until now, right? And you always hear like, well, the $1 million deal would be bad because you owe them. But I'm in a position now where it's like, I have a compound and I have 30 albums that I get paid from every single month, and I got a whole bunch of shit I already built where I don't think you should ever be able to get $1 million deal unless you built a business where you made $1 million and you actually know what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I think if you built yourself to that position, it makes sense, because what happens with independence is you can have a product substantially, incredibly great, but it's that self-preservation that leads to a bit of hindrance. Like, I've been having to sit with myself, because I'm like, you turn on the radio and you hear Ice Spice, right? And you partially hear Ice Spice because Ice Spice is willing to do the deal with them to where they're going to put her on the station, right? And a lot of the artists like myself, where we have the product that's nourishing that people actually need to hear, we like, nah, nigga, I ain't doing that type of deal, right? Until you get in a position where you can do a great deal. And I've been in a position lately where I'm like, if people got to hear anything on the radio, they should be hearing us, you feel me? So you have to really build that first. Like, you can't go trying to get $100,000, $200,000, $1 million deal if you haven't even built that yourself, right? You feel me? That it's a necessity. So it's really just finding that resource early, but building assets that is actually leverageable. You feel me? That people actually want, and that is giving something back. But yeah, your biggest struggle is gonna be finding resource. But the greatest part about that is like the freedom and creative liberty that you get to build with whoever you want, bring in whoever you want, and to make whatever you want, and you get to have fun with that. And I don't think going into the label deals have to be hell if you're that type of person, right? Wherever you are, wherever you go, there you are, right? So if you're a certain type of individual, you're gonna learn how to navigate that and make it work.
All right, for sure. So I think. All right, let's see. I'll pass the mic. Pass the mic. I know, right?
Good evening. My name is Marie Mott. My intention is to actually be the next mayor of this city as a millennial. I'm glad to see you guys here, those who have come back and those who are here for the first time. You all are innovators, right? And visionaries. And the question that I have is, the responsibility of a visionary is to lift and climb at the same time. So we're lifting people up as we climb. How have you been able to reconcile the difficulty sometimes of what it takes to be able to stand firm in your, with integrity about your purpose, and at the same time get to the bag too. So how have you been able to connect the two together? Because I feel like even though politics is a different lane, that's kind of like the space that we're in this city. We're tired of the bullshit establishment, and we want something different. We're hungry for something different in this city. And there are a lot of people in this room that are championing things in different lanes. And it's like we're ready to come as a full force, but I just want to hear from you guys. Like, what do you guys think about that?
I think the biggest thing I did, like my wife asked me one day, she was like, 'cause my wife, she worked at Vanderbilt, right? She was like, this is our mission at Vanderbilt. She asked me what my mission was for my company. So I sat down and I was like, damn, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what kind of like clicked in my, because that's what I want to do. I want to lift and climb, right? But at the same time, I had to make that my mission. So I could remind myself every day why I'm doing this when I wake up. Because like I said this earlier, the music industry sucks sometimes. Like, it's a lot of dog eat dog, like, and it's a lot of like politics, and it's like going to work sometimes. Like you have to deal with stuff you might not want to deal with, and like talk to people you might not want to talk to, or even just encourage people who don't want to encourage themselves. And it gets draining. So I think reminding myself every day and having that mission and saying, this is what Power Entertainment stands for as a company, right? Like, this is what we do. We empower people, we're empowering people to get in a position to be entrepreneurs and make a living off their income, right? That's like a kind of like a summary of what the mission is, right? And I think having that, it always locked me back in, because when I get off course, I go read my mission and I go say, am I doing this? And if I'm not, then I say, how can I do this? What do I need to be doing? What rooms I need to put myself in? What opportunities do I need to give my artists? What opportunities I need to give people around me? What community events I need to do? Because you kind of start getting focused on the bag. Like, it's easy to get focused on the bag. It's like, I got bills, man, my wife trying to have a baby. It's all kind of stuff that come up along the way, and you broke most of the time. And I think just reminding myself of my mission is really what keeps me grounded, because like he said something like that was really, really like, I've been trying to push this. It's like, we want to do music, but you don't realize like this is a business. And if it's gonna be a business, every day you wake up, you gotta have that mindset. It can't be something you're doing for fun. It gotta be like, okay, I gotta have a mission, I gotta have a purpose, I gotta be able to like build systems inside of my company. Like, and I think that's what, you know, like ultimately kept me in that lane. It's like just having a mission and setting a goal, like mission-wise for yourself.
Yeah, I'm always internally conflicted on it, because I'm hyperhuman. I'm a nigga who, I have a business, but I be having to tell people like, this is my life. Like, it's not really a business, it's really my life, and I have to figure out how to navigate around that. And it's always tough, right? Me and T always have deep talks, because, you know, I stand firm on like independence and what I believe in, but I think there's sometimes that necessity for us inside the industry and the infrastructure as well, because one time she was like, bro, indie artists aren't the only artists that need you. You feel me? Like, artists in general need to see someone walk in that light and step in that, but sometimes you don't want to mesh. Like, I'm big on like, I don't like doing deals and partners with people that if it make me feel like that, I be like, I'm not trying to. But it's also like, sometimes those people need people like you just so we can have some type of change, and they can hear from someone that's actually in it like, nah, this is why this shit ain't cool. But a lot of times we just choose to stay out of that, out of it. So it's always conflicting for me, you know. I think you really have to rely on your human being. Like, you really have to be a human and rely on your heart and trust your emotions.
I think I maintain that integrity by, number one, understanding the mission, and then number two, understanding that more than just independent artists need that information, inspiration, or whatever it is you have. And then I also understand that I'm here in this place to give out that information, but it costs. And if you give me money, I promise I'm gonna give it back to you, and I'm gonna keep doing this. So when it's fun, like I never think that I'm really, like I really think that I'm only working for independence. But sometimes you get certain phone calls, and this one threw me off, and I told one of my clients about this when Uncle Luke called me, and it was like, I gotta go through this catalog because the Freaknik movie is coming out. We gotta make sure. Now, wasn't much I could do because most of the publishing was sold up, so it wouldn't really, but it's the point that the message that I have, it reaches a lot more people that I know. I had a guy that wrote a record called Rumors, and some of y'all might know it. Look at all these rumors. King Casey, what's going on, man? I've been trying to get on your line. I just got my master's back. I was like, yo, well, what you gonna do, man? I'm calling you to figure out what I'm gonna do. And I'm like, so I hooked him up with a sync agent that would help him get it synced, you know what I mean? Because it's a popular record, and my agent was like, yeah, I want it today, let's do it, you know what I mean? So, but I maintain that integrity because, number one, I know it's my mission, you know what I mean? And number two, that's something I always have to remember, that I'm not just talking to independents. It's hard to feel that because you can't see that through YouTube, but you know what I mean? It's there. And so as long as I'm like, hey, people are like, yo, can I get a discount? I'm like, bruh, like, I could charge you way more for these phone calls. I'm not, because I respect the community. I respect the fact that you need to grow. And I know how much you get ready to pay your attorney when you get to that point. You know what I mean? So I ain't gonna rob and steal and take a kidney and all of that. And I think all of that kind of helps me maintain that integrity. I have a sense of what I'm doing for the people. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Good deal. First and foremost, thank each and every one of you. The energy in this room, the information that's being passed, this is just priceless. One, I'd like to speak to LaRussell directly. An amazing artist. You are my favorite artist. The energy that you just display is absolutely amazing. Again, I got an opportunity to see him in Philadelphia. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Got to see him in Philadelphia. I've never seen anybody allow just a show to happen. You allowed that show to happen. Independent. I'm 100% independent. I support independent artists. I have an independent channel. One of the biggest things that you gentlemen spoke on, how do you flip that switch? I'm trying to get these, you're a business. You can't treat your social media like, I don't care that you broke up with your girlfriend. Like, stop doing like you're confusing people. You are a brand, you are a business. How did you make that transition? And how can you convey that so that they understand it and they're not sabotaging their own careers because they don't understand that they're a brand and a business?
I personally, if you listen to my music, you don't know if I broke up with my girlfriend, if I'm going through whatever. I kind of include all of that into it because, like I said, for me, this is my life. It's never really a business. So the people who fuck with LaRussell just fuck with the way I live and how I choose to deliver that message to the world. I don't think you have to separate. I feel like when you start trying to separate all these things, you're like, you're molding something that isn't true or real. Like, you're a real human that goes through real life. And I think all of that could be showed and reflected because there's people that relate to all of that shit. There's people who's going through all of that. So for me, I show as much as I can, you feel me? And I try to be really transparent when I speak and communicate what I'm going through and what I'm dealing with. And I think that's all. I think people not showing that is why we have what we have today, where you have an artist who's number 2, number 3 on Billboard, and we like, who the fuck is that? You feel me? Because you lose there's no connectivity. We don't know nothing about you no more because you treated it like just a business, and it's like, oh, well, this is, every time I go to your house, I don't want to talk to you about your song. I want to know how your mama doing and how your sister's doing and, oh, what you building in the backyard? And, you feel me? Like, we miss all that with artists. We don't get none of that. There was a time with artists where you knew, like, they cruise. You feel me? Like, you don't have to see them, but you know them because that's how deep the level of connection was. And now all that shit's gone. So I think it's necessary to bring all of that back. We need more artists that is more inclusive. When we walked in, like, he was saying T-name, and they ain't even had to introduce yet. It's like, he know who she is because that's how inclusive we are. Splash, my camera, people come up to him and like, yo, Splash, it's a necessity. We have to include all of that shit. So I don't think the separation is necessary. I think it's always you have to find a way to make all of you work.
I mean, I think everything that he said is right for an artist, because the thing about it is, if you don't feel the personal side, the music ain't gonna really matter, because then you'll be in that position where you're trying to be the mysterious artist, where people only know the music, but we don't live in 1996 anymore. So we're in a position where social media is social, but it's just media, and technically it is the artist's TV channel. Now, when I open Instagram, he's the first person that's popping up, because he's running his regularly scheduled programming on Instagram, and like clockwork, I'ma tune in. And I got another artist I'm working with and they following their plan too, but it's the same thing. It's what it is. If you don't understand that social media is that, and you can choose to share however much personal stuff you want to. I mean, if you don't want to share family stuff, don't. But you know, there's people on social media, the whole thing is about their family, whether it's real or not. But the point is, he's got a technically, it is his own personal TV network. If he supplies it with programming, people will tune in. The minute you don't supply it with programming, people are going to tune out. And it's on you to share what you want to share to make it as professional or as ratchet as you want it to be. And that is your brand. Me, I can do something different because I'm strictly on business, so it's not going to have all that personal stuff. But if I did, it would be hiking, grilling, and chilling. You know what I'm saying?
And there's a whole market for that. I think no matter what you do, make it human. Whatever you choose to do, at least make it human. Because when it loses that human touch, it's just like, we can go get it anywhere because they manufacturing it. You feel me? You gotta make it human. That's what brings people in and builds. That's what sells tickets. That's why artists can't sell tickets, because it's not human, right? Real humans don't want to show up and support shit that doesn't feel human.
You know why Sexy Red doing well? Because she relatable to a lot of people. People you probably didn't even think was tapped in. But they streaming the hell out of her music, because you know what she look like? Everybody look cousin or auntie. And like, if you go look at her social media right now, she gonna talk about her baby daddies in jail, like, and then you listen to her music, she talking about her baby daddy in jail, like, you might not like it because maybe you ain't supposed to, but it's little girls or like people that look up to her like, oh, I can be seen. I always tell people that, like, people look up to you. I had to tell Slime that a lot, like, people look up to you, so the more you show yourself, you giving people who probably came from a background like you the opportunity to be like, okay, I can make it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can do this.
Myself.
Like, not to say I gotta do what you doing, you know what I'm saying? But like, oh, well, like, there's an opportunity for me to come from this environment. It's probably people in St. Louis that probably never thought they were gonna be rappers. Like they probably, St. Louis probably was in this situation where, like, after Nelly and them, they were like, it's over. You know what I'm saying? And then she come around, and you never know who she gonna open the door for. Like, I watched Glow open the door for everybody, you know what I'm saying, that came from Memphis. Like, I watched like 5-6 artists get signed from Memphis that's women because of that, because, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I think not being in a place where you have to shelter yourself, because I see artists lose like that. Like, if you was talking about what really going on with you, people probably would have tapped in with you more, right? Because you relatable, like, you're a human being. There's a lot of robots in the music industry that just go around doing what they want to do. You see them on social media, and it's like, that's why you like them. But like, when you really tap in, because after COVID, everybody tried to fake stuff. Because we got a time to sit down and like really see, like, oh, people living life outside of my reality of what I thought the world was. You know what I'm saying? Social media gave an opportunity, like, you can show everything now, and people doing that. So of course we're gonna get to a stage now where, like, no matter what, like, even me as a manager, I had to brand myself and start talking about my wife and talking about what I'm doing outside of music, because nobody cares about my success most of the time. Like, you get on the internet and you always celebrate, unfollow. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody want to just see the good parts of your life. So
not real.
Yeah, I had to, like, it can't be real. You gotta be having a bad moment. So for me, I started getting on social media talking about everything. Like, I started getting in panels, talking about everything. That's why I talk about my parents. That's why I talk about stuff I done been through, because now people are like, oh, this man human. I'm gonna lock in with him. You know what I'm saying? He's not a robot. He's not an industry person. You know what I'm saying? They just put in front of me to make me follow. We just got done talking about how, like, they making us do certain stuff. Like, so people feel that now, and they like, all right, well, I'm gonna lock in better. So I wouldn't say separated, but a manager or somebody around that person should know how to like streamline it to make it branding. You know what I'm saying? Like the artist job ain't to do that. You know what I'm saying? Unless that's what they do, but like it's the team around them to be like, all right, let me take what you're going through, and like if you cool with talking about it and being open about it, let's turn it into something that can heal somebody.
Man, that's dope. That's dope. It's dope to see that about the artistry. Like, not, you know, that's one of the reasons why I started the podcast was I enjoy like interviews, learning about artists that I didn't know. Like, say, you know, I have an artist and he has like 3 kids and one of them does karate. Like that shit's cool to me. So that's why I started a podcast, to make artists relatable to the people that's listening to them, to make them, you know, grow from that.
I
So,
think that's like what really determined, like, we knew Tupac mama name.
yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah,
Like that.
yeah.
That's what really builds that energy. It's got to be real.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, that's it. We see Grimy give me the cut.
Going overtime.
All right, they finna close this out, y'all. I'm Iggy, by the way. For everybody that walked in, I'm Iggy. Appreciate the guests for coming here. This is awesome. Oh, okay, yeah. Say everybody, y'all share y'all social media, where everybody can find y'all at. Normally I do that, but I'm kind of getting
I'm at LaRussell, wherever you want to find me in life. I'm LaRussell too, wherever you find me.
I'm on Instagram most of the time. It's big.boss.ceo. That's really like the only platform I'm really on. Like I look at everything, but if you get on my Twitter, I'm gonna be talking about engineering stuff. But if you like that, Twitter is like it's the real power CEO is on Twitter. But yeah, but definitely hit the Instagram.
You can find me on YouTube at Music Money Makeover Show, Instagram at Music Money Makeover, TikTok on Music Money Makeover, and musicmoneymakeover.com. All the information that you probably want to ask me is more than likely on that site, like for real. And I'm not really on TikTok like that because educating in ignorance is kind of hard to do on TikTok. But yeah, Music Money Makeover, yep.
All right, y'all make sure y'all stick around. The last panel is in a few minutes.